guys, Justin here with KrashFab. We're out here at beautiful Valley Springs out at Lake Hogan and wanted to do a walk around with this JT we just finished up. This thing is pretty ridiculous, so I kind of wanted to get in some details and spend some time going over the build and what we did and how we did it. So my customer came to me, Hugh. He's a great guy. He's MaxGlad2020 on Instagram. If you want to follow him, he'd appreciate that. Had this idea about building a rock crawling JT. So he called me and told me he was having one sent to the house and to get it going. So that's what we did. When this thing got here, it only had a couple things done to it. These fenders were on it, and he had the front lighting on it and the rear bumper, which we'll show you a little bit later. So that's all. That's how it came to me. Other than that, completely stock in a factory form. And I went to town and started cutting and grinding and stripped this thing all the way down to the frame. So the basis for the build that we started in, we started with a Fusion set of axles, and they built us their Super 60 Kingpin Elite axles, and so that's what it's got in the front. Kingpin axles, custom built 538 gears with Eaton E-lockers and chromoly shafts. It really doesn't get any stronger than that. Back to their warranty, it was the best platform I could think of to start with. So we started with that, and then Hugh, he told me, he's like, hey, I want some ridiculous shock snare. Okay, we can do that. So we went with a King shock package, and we did a 14-inch shock package in front with 16s in the rear. Now we also went with a 3-inch internal bypass shock, and they are just phenomenal off-road, and even on the road they feel amazing. So that's kind of what we started with, and the rest of it I started cutting and grinding and making stuff fit. This Jeep has got a long arm kit on it that I built, and so basically I stripped the frame of all the factory brackets and got rid of all the cross members underneath there in my way and built a full long arm kit for it. Because it's mainly a street driven Jeep, it's got Curry Johnny joints all around on everything, so he's not going to have to worry about any squeaking or rattling, and he's got plenty of good flex for off-road. And then all straight links that I built, and I'll show you all the brackets and all the details of that stuff as we go on here. So let's start with the front and kind of go from there. So as you can see in here, all the factory brackets are removed. I built these custom towers that go way up into the engine bay. I moved everything in here, moved the computer, moved all the windshield washer fluid stuff, moved the ABS can. Right now I've got all the covers off so you can see all the work that we did in this thing. And yeah, but so there'll be a little cover here to cover this ABS sensor as I get it bolted in here. And then it's got a full PSC big bore system on it. We delete all the factory electronic stuff and go with this. It's a much stronger system. It's got 4-inch King bump stops in it, and those pair really nice with these big King shocks. On the front here, I paired it with the Rock Jock anti-rock sway bars, and this has also got the Summit Machine in links on it that are really nice looking, all 70/75 aluminum, custom built to whatever specs you guys need. And kind of moving back a little bit, so I designed this full kind of custom bumper. It's kind of modeled after a couple other bumpers out there on the market, but this one's custom built to this model, and all tied in with the sway bars underneath it and the winch and the flex light, and it just all comes together really nice and beautiful. Not only that, but it's functional, and that's kind of the name of the game around this rig. Is it's a rock crawler. And the initial break-in on this rig was literally Rubicon Trail out here in California, and that's how this rig got, like, literally came out of my shop. I drove maybe 20 miles and it went straight to the Rubicon, and that was the break-in. And as of right now, I put about 500 miles on it, and I took up to Slick Rock a couple weekends ago, cleaned the trail, no problem. Just all-around rock crawling rig, and that's what it's built to do, and that's how it's made. So we'll kind of keep going around here. As you can also see, it's got the Fusion steering on the front of it. So it's got their 1 3/4 70/75 aluminum steering on it. And there's the PSC Hydro Assist right there. And everything comes together really nice. I'm gonna pop into the engine bay and show you guys the towers and stuff we did. So pop into the engine bay here. This is where the tower comes up, and you can see that I've got the computer all tied to the bracketry here. I've got a custom front tube that ties from tower to tower and gives it a little bit of extra strength and support. And then we've got all the switches wired in and some custom bracketry holding all that stuff together. We fabbed up a custom intake for it because when I built this there wasn't anything on the market, and it's all tied in and TIG welded and pretty. And then coming across, you can see this tube. This is tying the towers together and tying into the other shock tower here. So that's all my custom towers tied into the PSC system. And you can also see I moved the fuse box. We got rid of the batteries here, fixed wiring as long as you could see, and just getting this all to work and jive together. It was quite a daunting task. So that's that. I'll pop back out of here, close this hood down, and we'll keep walking around this beast. Want to jump into these tires. These are 42-inch Maxxis tires. These are their Trepidor DOT legal version, and these are paired with a Hutchison DOT street legal rim. And as you can see here, I've got power tank monster valves installed in it, and these allow you to deflate and inflate your air much faster than any factory system. You can also see we've got the Yukon hubs on here. Keep everything really nice and stout. Yeah, really impressed with these tires on a trail though. If you guys don't have a chance to check them out yet, you know, they're definitely a worthy rival out there. So check those out. Jumping into the sliders here. There's not a whole lot of sliders yet for the JTs out there. So I custom built a set. Obviously you can see that they've already been used and put to use. That's what they're there for, right? Protect your body. So these are custom built to the JT. I've got 4 attachment points to the frame. These are all built out of 3/16" DOM with 1/4" mounting plates all around. So super stout and made for a beating. So as we jump back here, we'll get into the really cool part. So when I got this Jeep, basically I pulled the bed off and I sent this bed over to Anderson Auto Body, and he got to work on a bed chop. So what we did is this bed's got 10 inches taken out of it right here. And what that does is give us a much shorter overhang than a factory JT. Now to match the bed, I went ahead and cut the frame off right here behind the cab. So once the frame was cut, I built a full custom frame for the rear. And as you can see, I have it all custom made around these big 16-inch King shocks we put in here. And cut some holes through the bed when I got it back to accommodate for it. And as we sweep back here, you can also see that I integrated a 4-inch King bump stop into it, and also tied in the sway bar, and that's also actually tied in through a custom built 25-gallon aluminum fuel tank. And it's a little bit difficult to see in there because I got it hidden in there pretty good, but you can see I got a 1/4" skid plate in the bottom of it, and this skid plate, correction, this sway bar goes directly through the gas tank. So pretty cool setup. So as we move back here too, you can see that this is the bumper that the customer had on it when he brought it to me, and he made this himself. All we had to do is shorten it 10 inches to accommodate for the body chop. And other than that, it turned out really nice. And if you pan up here, so we have our shock towers that get tied in, and I built a full custom bed cage, and this is kind of like a pre-runner style that you would typically see. All 1 3/4" DOM, and with 1/4" brackets for all the shocks, and tied everything in and made it look really nice and fancy. So if I come back here and open the bed, you'll see that this is your new fuel filler. and the fuel tank is tied in directly to this, and that is how you fill your gas and put this back on. Now there's a couple different ways I could have done this. I did this because it's the simplest and the easiest, and it allows the customer to have the full interior of his bed, which was important to him. That's why he bought a truck. So the reason that everything was done was for the customer and for the functionality of the truck bed. That way he can still use this space and, you know, haul lumber or whatever he needs to haul. And obviously up there you can see that's where I relocated the batteries to. It's got dual Optimas, and I have the cover off for it right now, but typically it'll have a aluminum cover that over it. That way everything's protected and he doesn't have to worry about arcing anything out when he's hauling stuff. The other cool feature we did back here is the customer really wanted a spare tire. So we wanted something different and to still be able to use this space and put his fridge or firewood or whatever when he needed when he goes camping. So we'll put the spare tire up here, and it's on a custom built air shock rack, and so that way he can raise this up, and then once it's raised up he can get in here to his cooler, grab his Pepsis out, get to his batteries or whatever he's got going on back here. So a pretty cool feature to be able to access this area. And then I also made it so that he can drop it all the way down. Now he's got more of your pre-runner style bed, and he can mob around town and look really cool. So that's kind of that system, and everything's built on locking pins. Lift this back up, lock the pin, and there it's like that. Look around the side here, you'll see he's got a nice KC light, chase light back there, and underneath that is a power tank. This is a 15-pound CO2 power tank, and what I did is I hard plumbed it into the truck. So basically you can walk to the side over there, turn your valve on, and you've got air hard lined into the truck. And then where the spigots come out on each fender well, I've got air chucks, and these air chucks is where you plug in your fittings to. And these are the Monster Valve Monster Chuck air fittings, and they'll take any air fittings. So whatever you're out on the trail, whatever people have, you can plug right into those fittings. It's the best on the market. While we're back here, I want to take a dive underneath the rear of the truck and show you guys some of the stuff I did. Jump underneath here, you'll see that it's got a KrashFab truss over the rear axle. And the purpose of that really honestly is just for the triangulated forelink. And you can see it's got a dual triangulated forelink, and you can see that it's got a custom cross member in there, as well as custom upper mounts for the upper control arms. And what's really cool about this JT is that I was able to get really, really nice numbers out of everything. And the anti-squat is sitting right at about 80%, which is really ideal for off-road settings. That kind of completes our walk around the JT build. A lot of stuff that goes into this, a lot of parts, a lot of labor, a lot of custom stuff. Just a really cool one-off Jeep build, and made the customer happy to achieve the first in the country real rock crawling, purpose-built JT Gladiator. So if you see him on the trails, say hi to him. He'll love the support. And if you have a chance, give him a follow on Instagram. He's MaxGlad2020, and look for him out there beating this thing up. That's it, I think, for me. Thanks for watching. If you guys like this video, go ahead and hit like and subscribe on YouTube, and go ahead and check out KrashFab on Instagram, Facebook, on the website. And if you have any questions or concerns, give us a call. We're more than happy to talk to you and build your dream rig as well. Thanks, guys.